We're about to get the all clear from the warden to head in, so let's head on in, everyone, as our adventure is going to begin right here in the little Terry Forest. And the animals here like to use camouflage to blend into their surroundings. So let's see what we can spot out here today. Going to be hiding all the way in the back. You may be able to spot it as soon as we get past the tall brush off to our right hand side. There is an okapi all the way in the back here to our right hand side. The okapi, they're very shy and reclusive animals, actually liking to stay to themselves. Now you may notice those stripes right there on its legs, which may make you think that they resemble a zebra, but they're actually a relative out here of the giraffe. They have a very similar body structure and a long prehensile tongue, about 12 inches long, similar to a giraffe, that they'll use to reach some of the tall brush and leaves out here. Here to your left-hand side is a dark brown-skinned antelope called a bongo. And the bongos, they have those horns that are angled backwards, and the angle of their horns will help them to move very silently here through the brushes of the forest, helping giving the bongo their nickname as the ghosts of the forest. To your left-hand side, there's also a few black and white birds here called a saddle-billed stork, and also a view here of the black rhino. But the black rhinos here, well, sadly, there's only about 5,000 black rhinos left in the world today due to poaching for their horns. They can weigh right up to about 3,000 pounds, some of the smallest of the African species of rhinos. And their horns have something in them called keratin. Us humans, we have keratin somewhere in our bodies as well, and anyone back there know where. Fingernails, that is correct. Great job back there, everyone. And also onto your left-hand side here, it's going to be a light tan brown-skinned antelope called a greater kudu. That is the greater kudus on the hill here to your left. They're rarely ever seen like the bongos we just saw. And those there are females, actually know that as males are the only greater kudu that have horns weighing up to 750 pounds. The saddle-billed stork we also saw right back there, right when we saw the black rhino, the black and white bird. They can get to be 5 feet tall. Their wingspan can get to be 9 feet wide, and the canopy, the roof of the truck right above you here is about 8 feet wide. So if you add just one more foot to the roof of this truck, you will have the wingspan of the saddle-billed stork. As we come into the Saltby River here, off to your right-hand side, you may spot some of our favorite types of animals, like that hippo there to your right. Now, hippos are some of the largest animals in the entire world, so definitely going to try and see if we can spot some more right up ahead here. And they'll weigh about 3,000 to 4,000 pounds when they become an adult, eating 80 to 90 pounds of vegetation every single day. Now, if you were to see a hippo moving through the water here, you may think a hippo is swimming. Our hippos don't necessarily really swim, as they'll walk and run right at the bottoms of the water here, spending about 8 minutes under the water before coming right on up and taking another breath. As it very much looks like there's a rainstorm happening right now here in the Saltby River. Let's definitely keep on going as we may spot some of our favorite birds like vultures, cranes, and our world-famous Disney ducks that somehow ended up over here in Africa. And the birds here in the Saltby River do hold with the ecosystem in this area out a lot. Cleaning up after all the animals like to call this area home, like the hippos we just saw. And those creatures there to our left. Definitely take a look, everyone, as there's some Nile crocodiles lurking to your left-hand side. Now, the Nile crocodile, they will live to be about 40 years old, having some of the strongest jaw strength out of any creature around, able to break the bones of their prey with just one snap of their jaw. But they're actually some really great parents, as fathers and mothers both will put their eggs inside their mouths. Switch the eggs around a little bit, and as they're moving their eggs inside their mouths, will actually crack their eggs, which will encourage their eggs to hatch and for their young Nile crocodile to be born. And everyone, it does look like we're leaving the little Terry Forest behind, coming into the savannah shortly, and there to your right, that very large tree is something called a baobab tree. the baobab trees, they are nicknamed the upside down tree as those branches there, they kind of look like roots. Baobab trees can remain leafless for 9 months out of the entire year. During that 9-month period, actually able to store a lot of water right inside them, which will help keep that tree alive during that entire period. Well, there are animals here on the savannah, they're in desperate need of water. They can find one of those baobab trees, peel back the bark of the tree, and from there get their much needed water. They're in desperate need to do so. As we're coming into the savannah here, everyone, you may spot some of your favorite types of animals out and about here today, like giraffes, zebras, elephants, maybe possibly even a glimpse of a lion up ahead here as well. So definitely keep a lookout, so you never know what we'll spot here on the savannah today. Speaking of favorite animals, everyone, my favorite animal here on the whole entire safari is right here to your left, as this here is a pack of African painted dogs. Now the painted dogs right here, you may think these are hyenas, but they're actually not. They resemble in the canine family a little bit more like a wolf. They get that name, the painted dogs, right from those spots of theirs on their coat patterns, and they may be some of the cutest little creatures around. Which means I may actually very much really want to own one. Or maybe not. As those painted dogs are the most successful predators here in Africa. Successful in their hunts 90% of the time. They will hunt in packs of 5 to 15, one at a time after their prey, until their prey is exhausted and they give up. Out to your left, everyone, there is the emblem of the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. Those are sable antelopes. The sable antelopes, you may notice those fin-sharp horns. Theirs will use their horns to help protect themselves, as well as together in courtship dominances. And what that means is to see which sable antelope is more dominant over the other. Also here off to your left and right hand sides, definitely there's some mounds growing out of the ground here called termite mounds. And the termite mounds are very hard. They're as hard as concrete, made out of saliva, dirt, and dung. Dung being a very fancy word for the word poop. Well, there are large animals out here like elephants that like to use those termite mounds as scratching posts. As they scratch on them, they'll actually shave them down to almost the size of a tree stump. And when they get to that tree stump size, then there are antelopes out and about here that will stand on top of the tree stump size termite mound. Then go over the tall brush that you're seeing out here today. Definitely see the predators out and about. See if they may become potential prey. And there's quite a few animals coming up on our right hand side shortly. I'm going to start talking about them right now. The first animal we're going to see on our right, they're going to be the closest to us actually, are the largest antelopes here on the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. These will be Patterson's elands. The one off to the right is going to be the male. The one to the left is going to be the female. Now males are larger than the female, growing to be about 6 feet tall at their shoulders, weighing up to 2,000 pounds. It's also a dazzle of Hartman's mountain zebra there on the hill to our right. A dazzle is what we like to call a group of zebra. You get a look at their nose. You may be able to tell their nose is the color black. And people do tend to wonder, are zebras black with white stripes or white with black stripes? Well, their noses being the color black helps us tell those Hartman's mountain zebra are black with white stripes. But their stripe heads being very much unique to every single individual kind of zebra. That's how we tell them all apart. Very similar to how fingerprints are unique to all of us humans. Also, there's a confusion of wildebeest here on our right and left hand side. A confusion is what we like to call a group of wildebeest. The wildebeest are also known as wild beasts. When they sleep at night, they'll sleep in a long straight row because if predators were to approach them in the middle of the night, they can jump up really quickly, run straight ahead without crashing into each other. Also right up to about 1.5 million wildebeests will migrate 500 to 1,000 miles every single year. Definitely some of the largest of the herding animals here in Africa. As there's also a tower of Maasai giraffe here to your left. One kind of on the right of the hill here is our youngest giraffe calf. Just over or almost a year old.
One's walking away.
Hmm? tower is what we like to call a group of Maasai giraffe, everyone. They are the tallest animals in the entire world, growing to be about 18 to 20 feet tall, spending most of their day standing up, including sleeping. They'll only sleep on average for about 30 minutes at a time, up to 5 hours a day, and the rest of the day is usually spent eating out here. Now everyone, right now you are currently experiencing something world famous here at Kilimanjaro Safari, and hopefully it will end soon, but we are currently experiencing our world famous giraffic jam. Thank you. As it now looks like our young one is wanting to get into the road right now.
Now they're gonna come to us. Oh, they're going to.
There's one that wants Nothing. That's not belong there. That's not belong. Yeah.
Now the necks of these Maasai giraffe, everyone, their necks only have 7 bones right inside of their necks. Us humans, we also only have 7 bones inside our necks as well. Now you can definitely see some of them walking about here today. When they walk, they'll walk at a cruising speed of up to 10 miles per hour. Maximum running speed up to 35 miles per hour, but will only do so for very short distances. As everyone, coming up on your right hand side actually is going to be the world's largest land mammal, the African elephant. Now that elephant here today looks to be a male elephant. Can kind of guess that by the size of its tusks, as well as it seems to be spending some time solo, a little bit more independent out here today, as male elephants tend to do so when they become an adult. Now females tend to stick together in the herds that they were born into, with the elephant's childhood being the second longest right next to us humans, lasting about 13 to 15 years in length. As you can definitely see that elephant again if you look behind us there a little bit. Since we are spotting an elephant out and about here today, we actually may be entering elephant territory here. So let's cross right over this rickety bridge, drive right on up ahead, see if we can spot a glimpse of some more elephants out and about here today. And with that, everyone, Twin Day, and Twin Day again means, let's go. That is right here at Disney's Animal Kingdom. We do pride ourselves every single day on our mission to help conserve, protect, and defend all these animal species out here in their natural habitats. And with that, we do partner with research projects here from time to time. One of those research projects being something called the Elephants and Bees Project. Now what that is elephants right over in Africa got very well known to go onto farmers' farmlands, ruin their crops as well as eat the crops. Now you may imagine, this did not make farmers over in Africa very happy. It did start to affect the elephant population just a little bit. Well, researchers came right over here to Disney's Animal Kingdom to study the elephants here. And what they found out while listening to them was that elephants are actually afraid of bees. Now that was the solution the researchers were looking for as they headed right back over to Africa. Started putting some beehives and fencing around the farmers' farmlands, actually encouraging the elephants to stay away, preserve their population. Also made the farmers really happy as they were able to maintain a stable income. There's also on here off to your right hand side, it looks like there's an animal with some long majestic horns to them. These will be Ankole cattle, also known as Watusi cattle, for the Watusi tribe that were the first to domesticate them, using them as a sign of wealth. Well, their long majestic horns can grow to be 3 to 4 feet long in length. If Here to look inside their horns, they do have blood vessels right inside them. They kind of resemble a look of honeycomb, which will cool down the cattle on these hot and humid days in Africa. We will spot some more elephants. They're all the way in the back to our left-hand side here. Being kind of behind the trees a little bit, they're kind of hiding all the way in the back. But if you got a good view of the ears of an elephant, their ears are kind of somewhat shaped like the continent of Africa. They do trigger some blood vessels right inside their ears when they flap, which will help cool down the elephant about 15 degrees. We also know that elephants have a vocalization that is hearable by us humans. However, most of the time the elephants out here will talk to one another at a decibel low enough we're not able to hear, but they can hear up to 2 miles away, so I do wonder if they can hear me talking about them right now. Also here to your left is a flamboyance of greater flamingos. The flamboyants being what we like to call a group of flamingos here. They are the lightest pink flamingos in the entire world. Now if you look on the island there to your left, you may have spotted some grayer, smaller looking birds, which were baby greater flamingos that were born here 2.5 weeks ago. And the greater flamingos, everyone, when they're born, they are born that grayish color, and as they get older, we'll get that pink coloration that is right from their diet. Liking to eat brine shrimp, and that carotene found inside the shrimp will help give those flamingos that pink coloration over time. Also spend most of their lives right back there on that one single watering source, as there are only 2 reasons why a flamingo would ever migrate or leave. One, if they had to run out of food, or 2, if that water level right back there was to get very low for them to live on. Also here onto your left-hand side is a crash of white rhinos, including our middle white rhino calf. He's a little over 8 to 9 months old now. Definitely right behind this mom there. We'll get a view as we're making this turn off to our left. Now a crash is what we like to call a group of rhinos here. The white rhino, they are larger than the black rhino we saw earlier, weighing about 4,000 to 5,000 pounds. Fortunately, also poach fire horns on many of Africa's protected reserves. Now, a white rhino can only see about 10 feet in front of them, so they will rely on their hearing and their smell to figure out where they are here on the savannah. Up on your left-hand side is actually maybe a little bit difficult to spot. Off to your left-hand side, look as far right as you can go. Behind these 3 trees here off to the left, and all the way to the right, there is a coalition of cheetahs. There's one laying down in the back between the 2 far right-hand trees there. And the cheetahs, they're the fastest land mammal in the entire world, going 0 to 60 miles per hour in just about 3 seconds. Now they can reach a top speed of about 75 miles per hour for only a few hundred yards before they have to slow right back down. Also do most of their hunting out here during the day. It's because they're not the strongest predators here in Africa. If they were to hunt at night, they could still catch their prey, but get beat out for their prey by stronger cats, such as lions and hyenas for the prey that they just caught. As lions and hyenas both are nocturnal animals, they'll do most of their hunting out here in the evening hours, making it much more beneficial for those cheetahs to hunt during the day. For that reason, up to our right is another crash of white rhinos. Also, if you look all the way to the far right, kind of on the hill, there's actually our youngest white rhino calf all the way to our far right-hand side up on the hill there in the bushes. She was born about a month and a half after the one we saw a little bit further back, and they're actually both half brother and half sister. Also there to your right, everyone, there's a brown-skinned antelope called a bontabuck. And the bontabuck, sadly, they're mostly extinct in the wild to this day and can only be found on reserves like this one. It's because that brown skin of his has been poached. And if someone is to shine directly on the brown skin of a bontabuck, you make the skin look like it has a purplish gloss to it, which unfortunately made it popular for poachers. Now, there are efforts to this day to boost the bontabuck population, as there was once only 25 left in the world. Now there are over 2,000. Off to your left-hand side are some warthogs. There's one in the burrow underneath us to our left, also one standing off to our left as well. And the warthogs, they are related to the domestic pigs. Also the largest burrowing animals here in Africa. Burrows being those caves that one was in. Often you would take burrows that other animals create and use them as their own. another view of that box spot to your right, as well as that white rhino cap all the way to your far right-hand side as well. And also here onto your right are some ostrich eggs. And speaking of ostrich eggs, the world's largest birds will be off here to your left-hand side. These are definitely ostriches. No, ostriches, though, they actually cannot fly. They will use their wings to help them change direction as they run right up to about 40 miles per hour. Another ostrich eggs, though. They're very, very hard, very heavy, not often able to be moved. If a human was to stand on top of just one of those ostrich eggs, those eggs are so hard they will not even break. It does actually look like we're approaching the Warden's Post here shortly. Then we can try and see if we can spot one more animal. Looks like we'll be able to. As everyone, these cute creatures coming up on your left-hand side, these are Nigerian dwarf goats. The Nigerian dwarf goats here, they are natives of West Africa, but can be found all over the world, usually on farmlands like this one here. Villagers right here in Raleigh like to use these goats for their milk supply, on the drink too, to help them cook, and 3 to sell the milk for their economy. Makes it very much so that the villagers right here in Raleigh do not have to rely solely on many of the other types of animals that you've seen already today for all of those reasons here. Everyone, it does actually look like your safari adventure may be coming to an end in just a few moments. If you'd like to see some more African animals out here today, though, right where you'll be exiting will be the Gorilla Falls Exploration Walking Trail. Right now, walking trail, maybe the spotting glimpse of some gorillas and my personal favorite animal in the whole world, the meerkats. Also, if you remember the elephants we spotted out here today, as well as the okapi here. Both of those animals, their natural habitats are being affected by the mining of metallic mineral ore called coltan. And coltan can be found in many of your favorite electronic devices like the cell phones you may be holding right now. If you were to go to your preferred electronic store of choice, get a new cell phone, for example, most electronic stores do offer a way for you to recycle your old electronic devices when you get a new one. Or to do that can actually help these animals out here a lot, as the mining of that metallic mineral ore called that coltan would not necessarily be as needed. By any wilderness explorers on board here today, you've been traveling on board the Simba 1. You can get your safari badge at the exit of the safari vehicle here, right down the pathway on your right-hand side. Again, my name is Zach. It was my absolute pleasure to take you around the Harambe Wildlife Reserve here this afternoon. Hope you spotted many of your favorite African animals out here today. Here in Harambe, they never like to say goodbye. Actually, like to say Kwaherini, which means to go well. Everyone there on your right, watch those hands, arms, feet, and legs, as those doors will be opening there. Watch your step, grab all those personal belongings. Kwaherini, everyone. Have a wild rest of your day here at